Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Kelly. So, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, when it comes to Vegas hockey, we love looking into the future. And more importantly, here on this show, we love to go over and analyze the future prospects that are in the Vegas Golden Knights system. As a matter of fact, we've been doing a prospect watch so far in 2022. We did one in October, we did one in November, and with it being the final days of 2022, it is only fair that here on Vegas Hockey Hub, we do a trilogy to the prospect watch. And we do the final prospect watch of 2022. So, here on Vegas Hockey Hub for December of 2022, this will be our Vegas Golden Knights prospect watch. And the way we're going to do this is similar to how we did it back in October and how we did it in November. We will pick two players from the Henderson Silver Knights, two players from the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and we're going to have one player from the UNLV Rebels hockey team that we are going to spotlight on tonight's show, episode 53 of Vegas Hockey Hub. And just to kick this off, we are going to start by going over to the Henderson Silver Knights, and we're going to talk about Jonas Raumbier, who was drafted 65th overall in the 2017 NHL Draft by your Vegas Golden Knights. So when it comes to Jonas, he is a player that came from Denmark, currently 23 years of age. He is currently under contract with the Vegas Golden Knights until 2025. He just signed his second professional contract in the 2022 offseason with Kelly McCrimmon. So when it comes to Jonas Raumbier, his journey getting to the NHL, and more importantly, his journey in the AHL is quite remarkable. So he had a small cup of coffee in 2019, 2020. He appeared in one game for the Chicago Wolves of the AHL. But what he did was be in the World Junior Championships for Denmark. He also was with the Lakers HC in the SHL out there in international. He was part of Denmark, the under-20 team, in international play. But when it came to Jonas Raumbier, his statistics getting into the NHL is quite remarkable. So when he was part of the under-17 team in 2013 and in 2014 for Rungsted, he had 18 points, 9 goals in 14 games in his first season in 2013. His second year in 2014, he had 29 goals, 53 points in 19 games. Then he led that up with 6 goals in 9 points in the playoffs in that 2014 year. And then his final year playing for the Rungsted under-17 team in 2015, he had 35 points, 16 goals in a whopping 6 games in 6 games. That's also the same guy who had 3 points in 3 playoff games for that team in 2015. So 3 seasons playing for the Rungsted under-17 team, and he had a whopping 105 points and had over 50 goals with that team in 3 seasons. 2016, he moves on. He goes be a part of Denmark's under-18 team, and he has 3 points and 5 games, which, is okay. His first season playing for the under-16 team out there in Denmark. So 2017, the year before he gets drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights, leading up to it, he joins the Lakers HC in the SHL. And him having a little bit of success out there, he had 31 points in 42 games for them, their junior 20 team, 9 goals, 31 points in 42 games in that 2016-2017 season, leading up to getting drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights and had 2 goals, 5 points in 7 playoff games that year. So after being drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights, Jonas Roundbeer was with the Lakers HC with the SHL once again, and he had 6 goals, 11 points in only 35 games. However, the next year when he was playing in the SHL again, he had 6 points in 45 games. So his transition going from the under 18 and under 20 team to actually playing a more higher form of hockey, playing in the SHL, which is a higher form of hockey than would be the World Junior Championships under 20 team, under 18 team, your under 17 team. It's a higher form of hockey, so he had much of a different transition period for those 2 seasons. So how did Jonas Roundbeer perform in his debut season in North America? How did he perform in 2020, 2021, his first season with the Vegas Golden Knights full-time? Well, in 38 games for the Henderson Silver Knights, he ended up having 8 goals, 15 points, and a +9 in the AHL. So that was a very good debut for Jonas Roundbeer. The fact that he played in 43 games, had 8 goals and 15 points, it showed that he had some potential. He had a possibility of getting better and better. He was still only around 21 years old in his first season playing professional hockey full-time in North America. Year 2, he plays 41 games in 2021, 2022 in the AHL for the Henderson Silver Knights. 14 goals, 27 points, and a +8 out there in Henderson. I will admit that last year when they were at the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, I actually got to see Jonas Roundbeer play live, and it was exceptional. The fact that he really was able to take presence and the way that he established himself on the ice was exceptional. He also got his first taste of playing professional hockey. Thanks to the injury-riddled season that the Vegas Golden Knights had, he spent time on the 3rd and 4th line with the Vegas Golden Knights. So he actually played in 30 games, which would be his rookie season in the NHL. He had 2 goals, 6 points in 4 penalty minutes. He had a ± of 0, so he was kind of on average there. You also had a situation where he was actually on practice squads. He was getting sent up, sent down. He was a healthy scratch at times. So despite only playing 69 games, if you combine both, him having 33 points in 69 games that year, that is a solid campaign for a 22-year-old. And then to the beginning of 2022, 2023, he had 23 games in Henderson, 15 points, 8 of them being goals, and he's had only 7 games with the Vegas Golden Knights, 0 points, 0 goals, but still early on. So when it comes to him, here's what his stats were. Like I said, I wanted to point this out. The fact that in year 1, he had 13 points in 38 games. He got better, had 27 points in 39 games, and had 15 points in 23 games before getting called up to the NHL. So him no longer being part of the Henderson Silver Knights, maybe this will be a long-term solution. Like I said, if you look at his NHL stats right here with the Vegas Golden Knights, Jonas Roundbeer, he played 30 games last year. That was his rookie season in the NHL, and him so far in his second professional season playing in the NHL, being on that 3rd and 4th line with the Vegas Golden Knights. All it tells me is that when it comes to Jonas Roundbeer, he is 2 years into the NHL. He has 4 years into professional hockey here in North America. And him only being 23 years old, he is going to establish himself as a player on the Vegas Golden Knights organization. His presence and the way he's going to establish himself as a bottom 6 forward for the Vegas Golden Knights. Watch out for him, because I believe that he has a bright future ahead of him. here on the Vegas Golden Knights. So that was the first player from the Henderson Silver Knights, talking about Jonas Raumbier out there with the AHL and NHL. Now let's talk about someone who has not played yet in Vegas. Let's talk about someone who so far has only had one season in professional hockey here in North America, but he has the potential one day to be a bottom six forward with the Vegas Golden Knights, and that is Ivan Morozov, who was drafted 61st overall in the 2018 NHL draft. So for a second-round pick, he is entering his first professional season here in North America. He's currently on a 2-year deal with the Vegas Golden Knights that he signed in the 2022 NHL offseason. Now, you might be asking yourself, if he was drafted in 2018, then why did he have to wait until the 2022 offseason to sign a 2-year deal? Well, you have to understand Russian hockey for you to understand that contract. In order to comprehend why Ivan Morozov is playing his first season of professional hockey a near 5 years after being drafted, it's because of how he performed in Russia and how it took a while for him to even get to North America. So to explain this, I'm going to use basic details like this. So in 2017, 2018, he had his first action in the KHL. And before that, he was in the MHL, which is a minor affiliate in Russia. He had 23 points, 11 goals in 30 games in the MHL that year in his 2017-2018 season. That would have been the year leading up to getting drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights. This is also the same Ivan Morozov who was in his first season playing for the Russian under-18 team and in international play, had 10 goals, 14 points in 16 international games. He was also on the Team Russia World Junior Championship team for their under-18 squad. He had 5 points in 5 games. So he was averaging a point per game in the under-18 World Junior Championship for Russia in 2018. So after that first taste of international/professional play, in that offseason, he gets drafted in the second round by the Vegas Golden Knights. The problem was he was not allowed to be in the NHL yet. What had to happen is what I'm going to describe to you here. In that 2018-2019 season, he played for 6, and I mean 6, different teams, all of them in Russia. So he played 11 games in the KHL. He had 0 points, unfortunately, during that time period in that shortened 2018-2019 season. He played in the VHL for the SKA Neva St. Petersburg. He had 6 points in 20 games for them that year. He was on the under-20 team for Team Russia at international play, had 2 goals in 13 games. He also played in the MHL, where he played 30 games that year and actually had a respectable 39 points in 30 games. But the one statistic that I really want to bring up is that him being part of the World Junior Championship, being on the under-20 team for Team Russia in the World Junior Championship, he had 2 points in 7 games. So he didn't match up with his 5 points in 5 games like he did in the under-18 team. But the under-20 team, he did play 7 games for them that year. So him staying in Russia and him having to play in Russia was a very important deal. So there's that situation. You also had the 2019-2020 season where he got his first major action in the KHL. But I also want to point out for Ivan Morozov that in 2019-2020, he was on 8 different teams during that year. He played in 20 games in the KHL for the SKA St. Petersburg. That's where he ended up having 10 points, 6 of them being goals during that situation. So 6 goals, 10 points in 20 games. He was in the VHL for the SKA Neva St. Petersburg. In 11 games, he had 2 goals and 8 points. In international play, his second season playing for the under 20 Team Russia in international play, he had 4 goals, 11 points in 18 games. And in his final season playing for the SKA 1946 St. Petersburg in the MHL, he only had 3 games played, but 3 points, average a point per game. But this is the first season where Ivan Morzov actually played internationally for Team Russia. Not under 20, not under 18. No, Russia. And in that international play, he actually was in 4 games, had 0 points, and a -2. So in his debut playing for actually Team Russia international play, it was a learning curve. It was a transition. But the one constant that I'm telling you here about Ivan Morzov is that he was playing against adults. He was playing against people who were a decade and a half older than Ivan Morzov was. This is a guy who was 18, 19 years old playing up against people in his early 30s. So in terms of experience, Ivan Morzov had one of the best experiences when it came to professional hockey, because despite not being in North America, he was playing against the best in the KHL. He was playing in international play for Team Russia. So Ivan Morzov spending his first professional season here in North America, even though it had been nearly 5 years since he got drafted, that's not the overall point. The overall point is that within that 5-year span that he got drafted by the Golden Knights, he was spending all that time in Russia. He was playing against better competition. He was playing up against competition that had already been in the NHL. He got up against former NHL players in the KHL. In fact, he had multiple teammates on that organization that would have been in the NHL by that point. But I mention all of this because of what happened in 2020, 2021. In 2020, 2021, for Ivan Morzov, the 20-year-old at that time, he got to play his first full season in the KHL. And in 70 games playing in the KHL, which, by the way, is the premier hockey league in Russia. All right, the KHL, I've even done multiple videos on this channel. The KHL is a little bit below the NHL. So the NHL is the top premier league. The KHL is where a lot of former NHL players go. It's where a lot of young Russian players establish themselves to eventually get promoted to the NHL. So how did Ivan Morzov do in his first full season in the KHL, 70 games? He had 14 goals, 38 points, and a +20 in the 2020-2021 season in the KHL for the SKA St. Petersburg. So for a 20-year-old out there in Russia playing in a premier hockey league, this was an amazing situation, because a 20-year-old playing in what I would say probably the second or third best tier hockey league, he had in 70 games 14 goals and 38 points. It established the fact that, yes, him being a second-round pick by the Vegas Golden Knights, they might have found something special here in Ivan Morzov. And obviously the Vegas Golden Knights felt the same way because of what happened the next year. So in 2021, 2022, the Vegas Golden Knights penned to paper. They officially signed Ivan Morzov to the Vegas Golden Knights, that 2-year contract that I mentioned. Now, he only played in 3 AHL games that year because he still had to transition over from Russia to North America. But so far in 2022, 2023, for the Henderson Silver Knights, currently in 19 games for the Henderson Silver Knights, 6 points, 2 of them being goals. So Ivan Morzov making the transition, coming over from Russia to the NHL, to the AHL. I will say that Ivan Morzov, he is going to be a player you have to watch out for And yes, he has not played for the Vegas Golden Knights yet. I comprehend that, but I think someday he will. And as a matter of fact, I won't be surprised with all the injuries that are hindering the Vegas Golden Knights. Look, it's hockey, it happens. But with all the injuries that have occurred, do not be surprised if the 22-year-old who has already played, like I said, professional hockey over in Russia, don't be surprised if he ends up a member of the Vegas Golden Knights, either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, because he has the experience. He already has the mentality that he can play at the NHL level. So we'll see how he does. And like I mentioned there, he spent 5 seasons playing in the KHL. And he will be playing in North America in the NHL at some point. Also, by the way, the Vegas Golden Knights farm system, people have asked this before, like who is in the farm system for the Vegas Golden Knights? What is the ranking system for the Vegas Golden Knights? Well, here's actually what it is. So at number 1, you have Brendan Brisson. He is the number 1 prospect of the Vegas Golden Knights, playing out there with the Henderson Silver Knights in the AHL. Number 2 is defenseman Lucas Cormier, who is out there at the Henderson Silver Knights. We have done episodes on him here on this show. The number 3 prospect is defenseman Caden Korczak, who is out there in Henderson. At number 4, you have Braden Pahal, who has actually spent some time in the Vegas Golden Knights system. And at number 5 is Ivan Morozov, the guy that I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. So that was discussing the Henderson Silver Knights. So it's time to transition and look to the Savannah Ghost Pirates, the ECHL affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights. So the first one is Alex Svetlikov from the Savannah Ghost Pirates. So when it comes to him, he's an interesting story because Alex Svetlikov, the established 21-year-old, he has played 4 seasons in the WHL. In 2018, 2019, his first season in the WHL for the Kelowna Rockets, he had 14 points, 6 of them being goals in 32 games that year. He followed it up with the Rockets in 2019, 2020 with having 13 goals, 25 points in 63 games. Unfortunately, due to the shortened COVID-19 in 2020, 2021, he had 6 goals, 15 points in 15 games. So if he actually would have played the entire 68-game season, he would have averaged 68 points that year, which is exceptional. Now, his final season in the WHL, leading up to being part of the Vegas Golden Knights, he transferred over to the Everett Silvertips of the WHL. By the way, since Everett, I know exactly where that is. Shout out to my family, by the way. I'm going to wave hi to you real quick. Shout out to my family out there in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously, you're big fans of the show. Now, the Everett Silvertips of the WHL, his final season playing junior hockey, he made it count. In 72 games that year, he had 34 goals, 86 points, a 69 penalty minutes, and a plus 19. And like I said, it's incredible. The fact that this guy in his final season of junior hockey put up 86 points. And everybody was wondering what happened to him. He was unsigned, which I think is incredible. The fact that this is a guy who put up 86 points and ended up not getting selected, ended up not being selected in the NHL draft, being signed as an undrafted free agent by the Vegas Golden Knights is insane. So after putting up those 86 points with the Everett Silvertips, he's played his first season in the ECHL, his first season playing professional hockey in North America. And for the Savannah Ghost Pirates, he has had 6 goals, 15 points in 28 games. And when it comes to him, it's going to be interesting to see what comes of his career in the ECHL. So watch out for Alex Svetlikov. 6 points, 15 games in 28 games. Now, the second person from the Savannah Ghost Pirates is goaltender Isaiah Seville, who was drafted 135th overall in the 2019 NHL draft. So before I go over what he's done in Savannah this year, I want to briefly mention his Henderson Silver Knights career. He had 7 starts, 6 wins, 1 loss, and a 2.05 goals against average. A little bit of context, I actually got to see Isaiah Seville live at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson. I saw him win one of those six wins he had in 7 starts. And for someone who is barely in his early 20s, I think that Logan Thompson, Jari Patara, Isaiah Seville, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be well off when it comes to young goaltenders. I believe that the Vegas Golden Knights, they're not going to have to worry about not having any young goalies in the wing. They have a trio of young goaltenders who are out ready, and they're going to be good at the NHL level. So Isaiah Seville, 6 wins, 1 loss, and 7 starts for the Henderson Silver Knights. You also have his stats with the Savannah Ghost Pirates, 13 starts, 4 wins, 8 losses, and a 92.6 save percentage. So, that's the situation there with Isaiah Seville. So he's done well in the AHL. He has struggled a little bit in the ECHL, but at only 22 years of age, he is going to be able to grow as a goaltender. He is going to get better and better as time goes by. So watch out for Isaiah Seville, Jari Patara out there in the AHL, the Henderson Silver Knights, and obviously Logan Thompson, who's a Calder Trophy nominee at this point in the NHL for the Vegas Golden Knights. And, I talk about UNLV Rebels hockey here on the show because not only do I have respect for the UNLV Rebels hockey team, not only do I believe what UNLV Rebels hockey is doing is great for Vegas, but I also want to show my appreciation for the players on UNLV because of the hard work and the ethic that they have to have in order for them to play college hockey, regardless if it is D1, D2, D3, D4, regardless of what division you are. The fact that you're playing college hockey shows me that you put the work in, you put in the time, you put in the effort, the dedication to get there. And we talked about Cole Wyatt when we did our first prospect watch with the UNLV Rebels hockey. I've talked about Alec Johnson in the past with UNLV Rebels hockey. Well, to give you some context, a couple of weeks ago, the Vegas Hockey Hub, we went to City National Arena, and I got to watch the UNLV Rebels hockey take on the Oregon Ducks hockey team out there at City National. It was jam-packed. The stands were full of hockey fans, a lot of people who are in support of UNLV Rebels hockey. They tore the house down. It was an amazing time to be at City National watching the UNLV Rebels hockey. But the one player that caught my eye, the one player that when he was on the ice, you had to watch out for him because of his way he was playing the game, the way that he was establishing the puck possession, the way that he was maneuvering around the ice. He really felt like a 200-foot player when you were watching him out there of UNLV, is defenseman Robert McCollum. And I wanted to give a shout out to him because I appreciated the way he was playing the game, the way he was on offense, on defense, his IQ, the way that he was watching the game. You could tell that he was, very intelligent, the way that he was figuring out certain zones and everything going on there. So Robert McCollum, his stats at UNLV, 14 points in 15 games. And I just want to give a shout out to him because he really caught my eye when I was watching the Oregon game at City National Arena. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. And until next time, continue watching junior hockey. Go support all hockey. Go Knights, go.